What if I told you that you had to be absolutely clear about the direction of your life before you decided to have children? No, there is no current regulation that suggests that you have to be clear about the direction of your life before you have children. But what an interesting idea, isn't it? Now, parenting is hard. I'll give you that. And as we're kind of in between Mother's Day and Father's Day, bookending, parenting, trust me, is very hard. This episode is not about judgment. This episode is not to evaluate your parenting skills. It's simply about thinking about clarity, because we all know that our children as they come into the world are blank slates. And because if you think about your relationship with your own parents, as much as you hate to admit it perhaps, if you look in the mirror, you certainly can see some of your parents' behaviors. Now, sometimes we don't like those behaviors and sometimes we don't want to carry those behaviors on. So we make conscious choices or different choices, but every now and again, those moments creep in and you think to yourself, oh, I sound just like my mother, or oh, that's my dad's voice coming out of my mouth. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, how does that happen? It happens because our kids, we downloaded beliefs directly from our parents, and our own children, if you already have them or if you're thinking about having them, our own children download beliefs directly from us in those very, very, very influential and formative years, the first 5 or 6 years. And so what happens is we hear our parents' voices coming out of our mouths later in our life. So what I'm asking you, or what I'm suggesting to you, is that parenting is one of the most extraordinary clarity exercises that you will ever go through. Why? Because you have to look in the mirror. You have to look in the mirror and decide, is this a behavior? Is this an attitude? Is this a thought process that I want to pass on to my children? Is this something that I want them to go through the world carrying? And so in that way, clarity is an essential process before or during parenting. Because I don't know about you, but I find myself at every kind of phase of my son's development, I find myself looking in the mirror and thinking, oh my goodness, what do I think about that? How do I feel about that? How would I decide about that? And isn't that the ultimate clarity exercise? Isn't that the ultimate exercise of self-exploration? It is, isn't it? Because you have to decide what you want to show your children. I would also say to you, we all have these great... I'm laughing because I probably have recently done this in the last week, maybe. We all have these great talks with our children, right? We all, or at least we have them planned in our head. Well, I'm going to talk to my children about this or that or the other thing. And sometimes they come across really well, and sometimes they work out really well, and you have these great family discussions. And your children may pick up something from that. They might take away a little tidbit of information that they use, or something that sticks in their mind as they go through their life. But I would say to you, and you know that this is true, it's your behavior on a day-to-day basis that impacts your children. It's the way you move through the world and demonstrate to them how they should move through the world. That's what has the most impact. And that's why clarity is so important. And that's why parenting is so difficult. Because much of what we do is, you guessed it, unconscious. We just kind of do as we've always done. We just kind of decide as we've always decided. We just kind of move through a lot of the day on autopilot. Because that's just the way humans are, and it's the way our brain works. So I am asking you, maybe I'm challenging you, I don't know. And maybe I'm challenging you to look in the mirror and decide, okay, what am I demonstrating to my children? if I were an objective third party and I was to look at the way I move through the world, what would someone see? Am I generally a happy person or not so much? Do I believe that the world is a place of opportunity, or do I believe that life is really hard? Do I think that people are kind and caring and helpful? Or do I believe that people are manipulative and self-serving? Do I believe that I am safe in the world and that opportunity will present itself to me? Or do I believe that, oh, I better hang on to whatever I've got because nothing more is coming? Do you see what I'm doing here? So if you can look at yourself clearly, if you can look at yourself objectively, and I get it, that's sometimes very hard, how is it that you go through the world? And how is it that you move through your life? What do you expect in your life? And maybe that is the question. Do you expect things to be pleasant? Do you expect things to come easily to you? Do you expect people to be helpful? Do you expect good things to happen? Or do you expect the opposite of all of that? And I guarantee you, that is what you will pass on to your children. Is that, think of it like a tone almost, right? When you're watching a movie, for example, and there's a, whatever genre you're watching, and there's a tone of a movie, right? If it's supposed to be kind of dark and scary, there's a feeling, or if it's supposed to be light and happy, or if it's supposed to be romantic, or it's supposed to be, right? You get buddy film. You get the idea. There's a feeling about the way it looks. There's a feeling about the tone of the dialogue. The music has a particular tone to it as well. Well, what tone does your life have? And that is what I'm asking you to get clear about. Now, we know that clarity is a process. It is the decision-making process today. Do I prefer this? Do I prefer that? But you actually have to do it. And when you have children who are watching you, when you have children who are part of everything or most things that you do, I'd like you to try and get clear about some of those things. Ask yourself the hard questions. How do I move through the world? And is this something that I wish for my children? Is this an attitude or a feeling or a perception, maybe, that I would like for my children to have? And if the answer is no, then maybe you could work towards shifting that a little bit. Years and years ago, I read, excuse me, and it was long before I ever had children. So I really don't know why this stuck so much in my head, but it really did, because I think it was a decade before I had children. So I was reading something, and I wish I could attribute this to an author, but I can't really remember even where it came from, but it just stuck. And I remember it's been corroborated through the years as I've gone through my life, and I remember the author talking about how we so easily and readily pass along our fears to our children. Now, I'm probably not telling you anything that you don't know, but one of the things that this author suggested is that kind of age-old, I don't know, it's just something that we say and we don't even really think about it. We say, bye, honey, have a great day, be careful, and off our children go. Or maybe you do that with your husband or your wife. Bye, honey, have a great day, be careful out there. Well, be careful of what? Have you thought about that? So when you send your kids out the door in the morning, or when you send your partner out the door in the morning, and you say goodbye, be careful, what are they supposed to be careful of? Do you know? More importantly, do they know? Think about this. So if you're not clear, so be careful of the loose step at the bottom of the stairs because I tripped on it yesterday. Okay, well now there's something specific for me to focus on. Now there's something specific that I should be careful of. Got it? But if there is nothing that you tell me that is specific that I should be careful of, what do I spend my day doing? What do I spend my day doing? I spend my day in the back of my mind, somewhere on some level, my brain is saying to me, gosh, my mother told me I was supposed to be careful today. I wonder what I was supposed to be careful of. So you're kind of looking over your shoulder a little bit, aren't you? You're kind of wondering when that thing that I'm supposed to be careful of is going to come at me. It's going to jump out at me. It's going to happen. It's going to be there. I'm going to be presented with it. So I spend my life in what tone? I'm a bit nervous, aren't I? Yeah, I'm a bit nervous because I don't know what I'm supposed to be careful of. I don't know what I'm supposed to be afraid of. I don't know which direction to look, so I'm tense all of the time. And all of that came from your desire, from your wish, because I know this is where it came from, to tell your child that you love them. That's what you're doing, isn't it? Bye, honey. Be careful. I love you. I want you to stay safe. I want you to have a great day and be safe in your world. And why? Because I love you. Well, then say that. Say, bye, honey, I love you. Skip the be careful. Unless the stair at the bottom of the staircase is loose. Then tell them that. Right? Because the brain focuses on the fear, because it's the job of the brain to keep us safe. So if we don't know what to be afraid of, we're afraid of everything. And that lesson, that little example from that author for me so long ago, stuck in my head, and I hear it all of the time. I hear it all of the time. Go to the playground. Go to the playground with your kids. Go to the playground and just listen to what people are saying. Oh, be careful, honey. Oh, be careful, honey. Oh, be careful, honey. How would we change? How would our attitude in our world change if we said, go and try new cool things, honey. Go and be adventurous, honey. Go out and live your dreams. Go out and be clear on what it is that you like and what you prefer. Go forth and find that. How would our lives change? And how would the lives of our children change? I really would like you to think about that, because what I know and what I am very clear about, because I see it all of the time, is that we pass along our fears to our children. And the reason we do that is because we are not even clear what we're afraid of. So look in the mirror. I mean that figuratively, but do a little self-reflection and think about, how do I move in the world? I can't really think of a different way to say that, but yeah, I think you know what I mean. As you move through the world, what kind of a person are you? And then take the next step in your brain and think, do I want to pass that on to my children? It really is an essential step. And there's no test. No, there's no certification that's required. There's no police that will come in the playground if you call out to your child, be careful. Trust me, there is no fine that you will receive. But I would ask you, what is the message that you are trying to send to your kids? It really, really is important. And maybe one more example, because you all know this is true as well, and maybe this will make it stick even more for you, is if that fun exercise or that fun game that that you've probably heard in a workshop. I know that I have used it many times in workshops before. I'll say to people, okay, so we're going to try something new here right now. Just let me think about this for a bit, and I would like you to think about elephants. Okay, we're going to think about elephants for a second. Well, what happens? Ping! In your brain pops a picture of an elephant, right? Now I say to you, okay, but whatever you do, because it's really important in this exercise, whatever you do, please do not think about pink elephants. Please just don't, whatever you do, think about pink elephants because it will mess with the exercise. Well, what just happened? Yeah, great big pink elephant, excuse me, just popped into your head, didn't it? Well, it's the same process with your children. Your kids are riding their bike. They're trying to learn how to ride your bike and you're yelling at them, don't look down, don't look down. What do? They look down. Why? Well, because there must be something down there they're not supposed to be looking at, or you wouldn't tell them not to. Language is very powerful. The brain is a bit confusing some days, really it is. But you know this to be true. If you are afraid your child will fall, just keep your mouth closed, right? Sure, there are some really dangerous situations and you've got to be there with your kids. I'm assuming that they're going to wipe out on occasion when they're learning to ride their bike, and that's okay. Just be conscious, and this is what I'm asking you about, or asking you to do, is just be clear about what you want to pass on, because I know you don't want to pass on your fears. I know that. And I know that you know that as well. So that is what you can do. Take a listen to yourself or listen to other people as they parent and begin to hear those messages of uncertainty maybe, or those messages of fear, or those messages of excessive caution, we'll call them, that we all tend to pass along to our kids. And decide, is that what I'm trying to pass on? Is that what's important to me? And once you decide that, then you can move forward and they can too. So that is my wish for you. As a parent, trust me, I know this is hard work and this is work that never really ever ends. But small steps, right? Preferences today, clarity today, A or B, moving forward, making decisions, and you get some momentum and you see the changes. It's really extraordinary. So I encourage you, and I wish for you that you will do a little reflection on how you want to move forward in the world and how you would like your children to do that as well. Good luck. If you found some messages that you liked today, well, please be free to share this podcast. I would love for that to happen. And of course, give us a rating if you've got some time. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, subscribe so that you and I can have all kinds of great conversations on our quest for clarity.